What is going on, everybody? Welcome to everyone's favorite Monday night sports show, Monday Night Rants. This being November 26, 2018. What a fantastic week of sports. I love this time of year. You got college football coming down to it. You got the NFL, you got hockey, you got basketball. You got all sorts of stuff, all in the midst of championships and crazy things going on. And you got baseball free agency starting. Josh Donaldson today signed a contract. Where did he go? I guess you have to wait and find out. And we had a wonderful Monday night game tonight. The Titans. Remember the Titans. Or don't. How do you destroy Tom Brady in New England and then come out tonight and just make Lamar Miller look like Barry Sanders out there? It's not an incredible feat to do, and not a great game. Pretty much Houston had it under control from pretty much start to finish, and the Texans are for real. And now you have to start to think, okay, can they be contenders? Well, with Deshaun Watson and now Demaryius Thomas, 2 touchdowns tonight, and if Lamar Miller can run like that, and their defense plays well, and another sack for J.J. Watt tonight, 3 sacks in total, forced fumble, I think, yes, they can be a contender. Because what we see in playoffs is defenses mixed with good offenses are usually the teams that win the Super Bowl. Philadelphia Eagles, Seattle Seahawks, Denver Broncos, and the Patriots when they beat, or they came back to beat the Atlanta Falcons. And we look at the Chiefs, and you look at the other contenders in the AFC. You have to think that the Houston Texans may have the best defense, maybe even better than the Chargers. Because the Chargers just lost their entire middle. They lost Mebane and they lost Perryman, which is their middle of their defense. As soon as they lost them both, Lindsey went right down their throats, and, well, the Arizona Cardinals tried, but they didn't get very far. So you got to think that maybe the most complete team in the AFC, complete team, may actually be the Houston Texans. As long as everyone stays healthy. Mathau, what a great pickup. He's been healthy all year. He's been playing great. J.J. Watt's been healthy. He's been playing great. And I don't want to say his name wrong because I always do, but I know there's a clown involved. Jadeveon Clowney. I did it. First time. Yeah. Has been playing great as well. So maybe the Houston Texans are the most complete team in the AFC and may have the best chance at winning the AFC Championship. And I'm a Chargers fan. I'm just saying what I saw tonight and what I've seen over the last 6 weeks now, 7 weeks, the team's legit. And they're complete. And that's what you need come playoff time. So, there you have it. The Texans dismantling the Titans after the Titans' big win against New England. And a lot more going on this week. Leonard Fournette decided he wanted to go haymakers with Shaq Lawson, the Fournette Lawson. I want to know when bout 2 will be, because that was pretty much. But by the way, why do football players do this? I think it's the stupidest thing. The stupidest thing ever. Why do you punch them in their helmet? What are you trying to accomplish? You trying to break your hand? What? I'm going to throw a punch you to prove I'm tough, but I'm going to punch you in the helmet? The helmet. Really? Come on. Come on, Fournette. You're better than that. And everybody else who always does it. Lindsey. Punching other football players in the helmet is ridiculous. You shouldn't be throwing punches anyways. But to throw it into someone else's helmet is just idiotic. What if he would have broken his hand? Wouldn't surprise me because Leonard Fournette's injury prone. He probably could have broken his pinky finger or maybe his pinky nail and sat out for 4 weeks. But regardless, Fournette will be suspended next week and he will not play because he decided to throw a punch against someone's helmet. Kudos to you, Fournette. Besides that, a lot of things have happened this last Sunday. It wasn't really that exciting of a Sunday. And I don't know if you've seen the schedule for next Sunday, but holy moly is it bad. There's like one good matchup. Other than that, it's like a dominating team versus a terrible team. Almost every matchup. It is ugly. It is as ugly as you can have a week 13 in the NFL. We'll talk about that later. We'll also talk about a little college football. What a matter of fact, one may argue college football was better this weekend than the NFL was. You had a great game up in Washington between the Apple Cup, between both Washington teams in the snow, where nobody can seem to hold on to the football. But Washington was able to hold on to the football enough. And that's why Washington State goes home with a tail between their legs. And Washington goes home with an apple in their hand. You had a shootout between West Virginia and Oklahoma. Oklahoma coming on top. No defense. Doesn't matter in college football. They're still one of the top 4 teams in the nation. Because Michigan certainly isn't. That's right. They put a 60 spot Ohio State on Michigan, and it was ugly. It was ugly. There's not anybody in the world who wants to take those khakis and wash them. Not a soul. Harbaugh has now not beaten Ohio State. And you know what? You could beat every other team in the Big Ten. But if you don't beat Ohio State and you're the Michigan coach, one may say his job may be on the line. Great game. Well, not really a great game. That was a terrible game. But a great week of college football. And that one may argue, like I said, was better than the NFL. Because I was watching football yesterday. I was putting up my Christmas tree, lighting it up. I was getting lit. Christmas lit up in there. That's right. I was lighting up my Christmas tree, putting on my Star Wars ornaments and my Lone Charger ornament. And this year I put the Charger ornament in the front of the tree and not the back. That's right. Moving on up. And watching the games and watching everything transpire and going, man, this week really sucks. And had a good fantasy week. Put up over 200 points in one league. 212. Christian McCaffrey scores 50. That will do it for you. What a great game he had in a losing effort. And ultimately just kind of setting my teams up for the playoffs now, and really excited about that. It is playoff time in fantasy. There's about 1 week left if you do a bye, and there's 2 weeks left if you do the top 4 make it. So a lot to be excited about in the NFL and in fantasy, and a lot to be excited about in college football. And, of course, next week, after all this mania is done, and on Sunday they're going to announce the college playoff and all the bowl games. So next Monday we're going to do a college football special. But we're not going to do all the bowls. We're not going to sit there and talk about the Beef O'Brady's, Holiday Inn, Home Depot, Depends Bowl. We're not doing it. We don't care about that one. We're going to do like the New Year's bowls, the main championship bowls, and a few of the other big ones that some other ones. But we're not going to go into in-depth of all 50 of them or however many there are. No one cares about the bowl that's taking place at your high school down the street. No one cares. No one. Not even the team that's going to be there cares. So, yeah, we'll do a complete college football bowl review next week with predictions and who we think are going to win the national championship. We're going to talk about that tonight as well, going into this conference championship weekend, which is going to be so much fun. I think the big one of the week, which we'll talk about later, but the big one has to be the Oklahoma-Texas game. Because that's the only one where I think both teams could win. Unless you want to talk about the Pac-12, then yes, any one of those teams can win that one, but that one means more to anybody. Ohio State should handle Northwestern. They should. If they don't, well, they're not getting it. They could win, but they have to handle Northwestern if Oklahoma beats Texas. More on that later. So big college football games this weekend. A terrible week of the NFL Week 13. It is Week 13. Ooh, maybe that's why. And more on that later. But I got some big news. Some really, really big news. As everyone knows who watches and listens to the show religiously, thank you for that, by the way. We appreciate it, and we hope you keep on listening. But things have transpired over the last couple of months, which you've all heard, that quite possibly, me and my beautiful wife, Rebecca, have a bun in the oven. That's right. A fresh made bun roasting in the oven. And I have to say, I am blessed and so excited to be having our first child. And on Sunday, after we got done lighting up the tree and getting Christmas ready at House Rouse, it rhymes, deal with it, that we are having a little Chargers fan. Yes. She will be. That's right. We are having a little girl. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. There's going to be a little girl rocking a Chargers cheerleader outfit, running around the house with a little blue and yellow pom-poms going, come on, Daddy, let's go Chargers. I'll be like, yes. And she won't even be old enough, because when she's old enough, she's going to be like, Phillip Rivers is the greatest quarterback of all time. He's a legend, because at that point, he'll be in the Hall of Fame, and she won't know what it was like just to watch Phillip Rivers play. The things that go through my head. But yes, I'm extremely excited to be having a little girl, and my wife is as well. We are very excited, both of us. And I'm saying it's a good thing we're having a girl, but a bad thing that we found out a day before Cyber Monday, because the credit cards were out. Thank you, Amazon. Thank you. Hopefully I get a bonus or another sponsor on the show soon, because I'm going to need it. So a beautiful day yesterday. Beautiful day. So what I'm going to do now is we're going to bring in Josh and Anthony, and we are going to talk about some NFL, some of the stuff I already talked about, but we're going to go a little bit more in detail, if you will, on it. And, we're going to bring in DMX too. Yep, he's here. And we're going to talk about some college football as well. A little NBA. Not much going on in the NBA, except for the Clippers are in first place. Did you see that? All alone. What's up, Blake Griffin? What up, Chris Paul? What up, DeAndre Jordan? Where are your teams at? Not in first place. Woohoo! It's amazing how when you get rid of some whiny players and a full team of mediocre players, you can actually do well in the NBA. And the Golden State Warriors, well, they're starting to be a little whiny, so interesting tidbit there, as we say in the realm. Also, if you haven't, check out the Intrust We Sports podcast. It's amazing. And also check out the Intrust We Sports website, because you know why? We're not all about podcast anymore. No. We've upgraded, if you will. You can get articles now, news. Yeah. I'm doing start columns. Anthony's doing sit columns. We got other writers we're interviewing about coming on and writing stuff for everybody. All sports. I'm going to have some MLB columns coming out about the free agency, about Josh Donaldson. More on that coming later in the show. And we're going to talk about all sorts of stuff that you can read on your phone while you're taking a poo. Boom. That's right. It's intrustwesports.com. And also, you can access all the podcasts there. And I'm going to intertwine this show, Monday Night Rants, onto the website as well, so you can access all the replays from this show on Intrust We Sports as well. Whew. Hold on. Take a second. Breathe. I know, it's a lot to take in. Just breathe. It's going to be awesome. All right, so let's bring in Josh and Anthony and talk a little NFL, college football, little NBA, Josh Donaldson, and end the show with a Week 13 stinker. Here we go. What's going on, gentlemen?
How you doing? How's it going over there, Eddie?
You know what? I'm living the dream, man. I'm living the dream.
That's awesome, man. Congratulations to you and the missus on a baby girl. You know what? I might have told you this before, but I think every guy wants that boy. You want that junior, to carry on the bloodline. But having a girl, man, you're gonna have someone who's gonna steal your heart once again. It's gonna be phenomenal, and congratulations, man.
That's what I've heard. Is a lot of people have been telling me that, especially I have a few friends that have had girls, and they say it's the greatest thing ever. It's better than a boy. And I'm like, I don't know about that.
Until they get into middle school.
Yes. Until they start dealing with the girl problems, and I'm like, Mom.
Ask your mother.
Yeah, ask your mother. She knows better. I don't know what's going on here. I would just throw a cotton ball at her and be like, deal with it. I'm kidding. That's a joke, people. I'm kidding. I would Google it, and then I would take care of it. I'm off to a great start on being a father, huh? Okay. So, guys, I know you watched football yesterday. I did, unfortunately. But real quick, Paul Martinez has a question. With the 49ers releasing Reuben Foster, yes, that was a big note. Reuben Foster, he's a troublemaker. You think he'll play in the NFL again? And immediately he decides that he thinks he's going to get picked up by two of the teams that pick up troublemakers, the Raiders or the Cowboys. What are you guys' thoughts real quick on Reuben Foster?
You know what? It's similar to the whole Josh Gordon situation. Obviously, Foster is super talented. He's young. So I'm almost positive someone's going to pick them up. I don't know if he's going to go to Oakland. I think John Gruden has a different style of players he's looking for, so I don't think he fits that mold. Jerry Jones, he could roll the dice, but I think right now they have a pretty stout defense right now in Dallas, so I don't know if he'll do that. But definitely, if Foster's talented, if he doesn't get a lengthy suspension from the court of Goodell, I'm sure he'll see him on some NFL roster next season.
Yeah, John Gruden does have that strict no-win policy.
Oh.
Yeah. I don't have a drum thing on here anymore, but I should play it right now.
That's good. You need to get rid of that. Get rid of that drum thing.
Oh, wait. Yeah. That was a joke. Okay, so real quick, guys, the Panthers. What is going on here? Just like 4 weeks ago, we were talking about how they're shooing for the wild card. They're sitting at 6-2, looking pretty. And all of a sudden, 3 straight losses, and I must say, bad ones. Is Seattle good, or are the Panthers just trying to still find themselves? I mean, what's going on here with the Panthers?
I think it's a little bit of both. I think Seattle, ever since they started running the ball well with Chris Carson and the rest of the backs they have there, it's alleviated some of that pressure from Russell Wilson. Wilson's doing his thing, throwing touchdowns, throwing teams down the field. So I think Seattle's starting to catch some strengths. But the Panthers, I think that interview by Greg Olsen at the post-game conference explained it all. They are beyond frustrated. Deep secondary been getting torched by the last 3.
Anthony, we're losing you, buddy. Your internet connection is starting to sound like a robot coming in from Mars here. By the way, kudos to NASA for landing that thing on Mars today. Quick shout out to NASA. Anthony, your internet, buddy. That's good. Listen to him all day.
I'll give my take.
Okay. Eddie's gone. All right. Bye-bye, Anthony. Come back soon.
I think Russell, they don't want to see Pete Carroll get fired out of Seattle so quick, and Russell Wilson's trying to step up his game, show him that he's a little bit more no matter what our offense, if our defense can't pull up, our offense could come back and we can still win games. And our kicker is not Graham Gano.
Yeah, that's true. Wow, he's been terrible. What the hell happened? Anthony, are you back with us full time?
Yes, I'm back.
Nope, you're not. Man, he forgot to pay the Wi-Fi bill. I think that's what happened there.
But also, I also, Carolina's missing Peanut.
Yeah, no, yeah, that's true. I don't know what's going on with Carolina. I mean, they should have gone for 2. They should have won that game easily. I think that was a huge mishap there. That's one win they could have had. And then, losing to Pittsburgh in Pittsburgh on a short week and Thursday night where everyone shortens their playbook is understandable. But this last week, I think, and they had the game. It was a great game, but they had it. And, when McCaffrey goes for 200-plus yards, breaking records, 100 passing, 100 receiving, you got to win that game, man. But Graham Gano, again, not does he get dropped? Do they pick up a new one, or what do they do there?
For me, I say, you're close to dropping him. You give him one more game, see what happens, but you're that close because he has proved himself in the past for you. He's done well, and now you just give him one more, and if he doesn't, you just cut your losses.
Yeah, I'm with you there. Well, the Panthers have a lot of work to do because they got a little bit of a tough schedule coming forward. So hopefully they can stay in it. I mean, it's kind of a wide open, NFC now, especially with that win from Seattle, kind of opening the door for a lot of teams. The Cowboys and the Redskins will go at it. Although the Cowboys have a rough game this coming up week against the Saints on Thursday, I believe. So, which by the way, kudos to the NFL for scheduling Thursday to Thursday teams instead of trying, But unfortunately, everyone else who played on Thursday the weeks before are going, well, that's not fair. So, of course, right. No one's perfect. Paul Martinez asks, is Gus Edwards the real deal? I wouldn't say he's the real deal, but Alex Collins was magically inactive with an undisclosed injury. So I believe that Gus Edwards will get the benefit of the doubt there and be the guy going forward over Alex Collins, unfortunately. But I would stay away from him in a non-flex only situation. I wouldn't start him as an RB1 or RB2 because you never know what they're going to do. Especially, we'll talk about in a little bit what they're going to do with Lamar Jackson going forward. So, moving on, we're going to talk about the Fournette and Lawson brawl. Jacksonville is struggling. Marrone is not a good coach. I think last year was more of a mirage than anything, and we're starting to see that. Their defense is that good. Jalen Ramsey got owned. Here's why. Jalen Ramsey called out Josh Allen in the beginning of the season in training camp. When he was throwing a pass, he said, that's an interception waiting to happen. Well, here's what happened. Josh Allen threw an interception. Jalen Ramsey got the interception. He's right. So Jalen Ramsey got the interception. He's running down the field. Who tackles him? Josh Allen. Well, guess what? Flag on the play, holding on Ramsey. Interception doesn't count. So the Buffalo Bills posted a wonderful tweet that pretty much said, I think not, or this tweet is outdated or something, and it was pretty funny. So kudos to the Buffalo Bills social media team, and non-kudos to the Jacksonville Jaguars, who look like they are absolutely terrible. Blake Bortles is being benched. Remember, this is the same Jacksonville Jaguars team that, like, week 2, made the New England Patriots look absolutely bad. So it's crazy to see how this has gone. A lot of people have them automatically winning that division, and their defense has not been good. The Jacksonville, I mean, what do they do here? You got Fournette, who are they going to come to a point where they just don't play Fournette to rest him for next year? I mean, what are they going to do here? Or do they just are they packing it in? I think the Jacksonville Jaguars are going to pack it in. Thoughts?
You're good now?
No, you still kind of sound like you're very
gargled.
Like I'm very sad. Like I'm very sad.
You always sound like you're sad, but I mean, yeah, you're like. Here's what you sound like. I'll do my best Anthony Zaragoza impression at the moment. Yeah, so the Panthers, and I think they're going to be good. Cam Newton's my boy. He dresses well. That's what it sounded like. Yep, and it still sounds like that. Josh, what are your thoughts of the Jacksonville Jaguars?
I agree with you. They're going to pack it in because they're just going to cut their losses. I think they're going to try to revamp for this upcoming year, try to pull it all together. You're going to probably see more Yeldon and Hyde coming in now. No longer Fournette, especially after the punching incident. And I think also they're also going to reevaluate that Bortles and that contract they gave him.
Yeah, I think Bortles has played his last game, I think, in Jacksonville. I think they're going to pack it in, look for a quarterback, free agency, try to get a trade in. I heard rumors about Matthew Stafford today. I didn't know if that would be a great fit, but that's interesting, especially with the money that he's owed. Should be interesting. But, yeah, I think Jacksonville's done for the year. And, by the way, don't punch people in the helmet. It's stupid. Andy Dalton left the game with an injury against the Browns. He is done for the season, and so are the Cincinnati Bengals. And, by the way, the Cleveland Browns, if you read my stardom column on the InTrustFreeSports.com website, I had both Baker Mayfield and Nick Chubb in my must-starts of the week. And what did they do? Oh, yeah, performed. So I think the Browns look good. Since they fired Hugh, they are 2-1. And by the way, one of the best moments of the week is when the cornerback intercepted Andy Dalton, was getting rushed in the sidelines, and handed the ball to their old coach, Mr. Hugh himself, who's now an assistant coach for Cincinnati. And he grabbed the ball like, oh, great, thank you. And then he realized he was no longer the coach of the Browns and dropped the ball. Like, he didn't get it. And I thought that was hilarious. And a lot of players coming afterwards and saying how happy they are now that he's gone. Baker Mayfield said, oh, I love how the new play calling is. He was really that bad. How did it take him so long to fire that guy? That's all I got to say. But the Browns, I think, and I want to talk about is, what do we expect from the Browns next year? I think next year they could be a force. They could be a playoff team. With everything they have. They got a young defense and a great young offense. And Baker Mayfield, for a rookie, of all the quarterbacks, the rookie quarterbacks, he does look the best.
I think so. I think especially in the AFC where that 6th wild card spot is up for grabs this season, it'll probably be the same case next year. They will have an opportunity to make a case for it. They got a young defense that's pretty good. Field after they selected first overall, but he looks like you said, the best quarterback in this draft. So Nick Chubb looks like the real deal in Cleveland.
How about that catch, too,
a lot of things are going for them. Oh, that was catch.
Anthony, you're cutting out again, buddy.
He's gone again.
In the moment, right when I'm getting into it.
Yeah. It's okay, though.
Yeah,
Josh, what do you expect for the Browns next year?
If they make a little bit of adjustments on defense, get a coach that really understands what he's working with Baker Mayfield, Chubb, the Landry, and everybody else that he has on the offense as well, they can actually be a wild card team if they really, put the best foot forward.
Yeah, and who's going to be the coach? Because, they're going to get a new coach. Bruce Arians came out over the weekend and said that he would actually coach for the Cleveland Browns. That'd be a good
that's
fit.
Actually going to be the coach that it's going to happen, because he said of any team he would coach the Browns.
Yeah, no, I think that's a good fit too for the Browns, and I think going forward, as a Brown fan, I would be extremely excited. Melvin Gordon, man, you're winning that game handily. You pull this crazy play, a double reverse with Melvin Gordon coming from the right wideout receiver spot. Hand off the ball to Allen. Allen hands off the ball to him, and he just gets wiped out straight to the knee. It's an MCL injury, the same one that Sonny Michel received earlier in the year. He missed 2-3 weeks. Not only does it hurt your fantasy season, especially going into the playoffs, but the Chargers have some tough games coming up. They got to play Pittsburgh. They got to play Denver in Denver. They got to play the Chiefs again. And they got to play Baltimore. So that is rough sauce, not having Melvin Gordon.
You
Eckler.
forgot the Raiders.
Yeah, I'm not worried about the Raiders. But
I don't think anybody is.
But so what a bad play call. And why was he in there at that point? He was already questionable to begin with. He played. He already has 2 touchdowns. They're handily. Phillip Rivers only missed 1 pass, which, by the way, he broke a record for most highest completion percentage in a game of all time, ever, in the history of the NFL. And he has the most completions straight in a game, in one game in the NFL. Something that no Raiders quarterback has ever done. So, with that being said, or Packers quarterbacks for that matter. With that being said, why risk it on a special trick play like that? Just either run the ball up the middle or don't even have him in there. It's a bad injury. It hurt. It's going to hurt. And I think, the Chargers may lose 2 or 3 of these games because of it. And trying to maybe not so much of a lock for that next spot. They could easily, if they lose two games in a row, they could easily be blown down to that 6-5 crazy field that we have going on right now of all the teams trying to make the playoffs. So bad injury, don't like it, didn't like the call, didn't like that he was in there at that point, and I'm a little sad, I'm not gonna lie.
Understood.
Yeah.
But you do have Eckler, who came out looking pretty good. So there is a little hope for there.
There is hope for there. Yes. There's always hope for there. Moving on to what should the Baltimore Ravens do? They're currently sitting in that last wild card spot, speaking of that, with the Indianapolis Colts breathing down their neck really close. It's due to tiebreakers. Lamar Jackson's 2-0. Yes, his throwing does not look pretty at all. But, I mean, they're 2-0. Yes, they've played 2 not very good teams. Should Harbaugh stick with Jackson the rest of the season if Flacco were to be magically healthy this week?
I would. I mean, you're looking at a guy who is a dual threat. He can, even though his passes don't look great, he's winning you games, and he can move, he can scramble, he can do whatever you need him to keep that yardage going and keep advancing that ball. And you do have a decent amount of defense behind you that it can win games. Even if it's by 3-7, you're still winning those games and making that playoff spot.
Yeah, but does 0 touchdown passes and 3 interceptions kind of scare you off a little bit?
A little bit, but unless you are starting to see that regression happen, that's when I would start throwing Flacco in. But until then, you can stick with what you got.
Anthony, what do you think?
No, I can't trust that guy in a 2-minute offense right now. And that's what the playoffs and these December games do. So you can do that with him. He's young and fine, even though he's Flacco, he can show up in the games. So I'll go with him if I can.
Okay, what I think I got there was this. Anthony said, I do not trust him in a 2-minute offense. We got that. And then it went, Flacco, I'd go with him if I can. That's what I got there. So we're going with Anthony says no on Lamar Jackson. Go with Flacco. I say you stick with him. Stick with him. See what happens. Like Washington stuck with RG3 his rookie year. These run-first quarterbacks don't last too long in the NFL, as it's shown. Michael Vick made a career out of it, but how many others have actually done it? Not very many. So I say eventually I see Flacco coming back, especially if they lose the next game. I think he'll be back at the helm. All right, I want to talk about the Broncos a little bit, but real quickly, they did beat Pittsburgh in Denver, and they've now beat the Chargers and Pittsburgh 2 in a row here. They do have a far chance, but I think it's kind of slim. But even if they were to make the playoffs, do you think the Broncos are actually a Super Bowl contender?
Not a chance. You're talking about they have to go. Not only they have to beat the Chargers again this year, if I'm correct, during the season, but they have to beat them again or the Chiefs in the AFC Championship, and then play somebody like the Saints or the Rams. It's not going to happen.
Yeah. And plus, you got to think, you really think two teams on the wild card are going to come out of the AFC
division.
West? Yeah. I mean, well, with the AFC East being terrible and now the Titans losing, actually, kind of opened the door a little bit for them. But then you got to think the Colts are looking really good. Can they pass the Colts? And then you got the Baltimore Ravens and the Pittsburgh Steelers. And that's about all the teams in it still in the AFC. It's the Patriots, it's the Chiefs, it's the Texans, it's the Steelers, and it's either going to come down to the Colts, the Ravens, or, of course, the Broncos, with the Chargers too as well. So they have a chance, but they're kind of like the last team in that fine line looking in. So kudos to them. You know, they shouldn't have won last week. They definitely should have won this week. That was a great game they played. So hopefully they could keep it going. Let's move into some college football. We'll talk college football for a little bit. Hopefully Anthony can join us in this college football discussion. I know he's having some internet problems over there at his casa. Should have upgraded to the Xfinity Plus, you know.
If he has Xfinity.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have cricket.
He has cricket is what I got there. That was perfect.
I heard crickets.
I heard crickets. Yeah, that's what I He's trying the best he can. He's coming in here a little bit. I know sometimes internet can be rough, especially in the cold seasons of the winter, you know, when you got kids and you got to pay for other things other than your internet connection. So it makes sense.
I paid for my internet this month, okay? I paid for it.
Well, perhaps you should pay just a little bit more. So, so moving forward, college football. What a great week of college football! Like I said in the opening monologue there, I had a lot of fun watching college football. I know Josh and I watched that crazy Texas A&M LSU game, the game of the year, going to 7 overtimes. It's the highest scoring game in college football history. What was it, like 74-72 or something like that? Just absolutely crazy. It went on 4.5 hours. The overtime was nuts. Catches, the defenses were so tired, and it was like every player seemed wide open. And Rogers for Texas A&M caught some amazing balls out of just nowhere. I don't know how he even did it to keep that game alive. Yeah, there were some questionable ref calls as well, but what an unreal game that was, and really fun to watch. I know Josh and I were hoping that they wouldn't get that 2-point because we wanted to see it go to 8 overtimes, which has never been done before. But yeah, highest scoring game, and who would have thought a high scoring game against LSU, by the way, who never is involved in high scoring games, it seems. But what a fun game to watch, and you know, it really meant nothing but just both teams playing their hearts out. So kudos to that. If you didn't see it, watch a replay of just the fourth quarter on. It was an amazing thing to watch. But the one thing I want to talk about in college football, and what I've heard a lot of people talk about after the drubbing of USC, is Notre Dame. They're guaranteed. They're already the only team. Well, I guess you can say Alabama, even if they lose. But pretty much, without playing a game again, they're guaranteed to make it to the college football playoffs. And what I wanted to talk about, and hopefully Anthony can join us, is if not being in a Power 5 conference hurts you, or in this situation, it kind of helps you. Because they've already beaten the teams they need to beat early in the year, Michigan. And now they're sitting there already knowing they don't need to wait till Sunday. They already know they're in. They get an extra week off than anybody else to prepare. So in a way, not being in a Power 5 conference or not playing that extra championship game or anything is helping Notre Dame this year. Now, should they be in a Power 5 conference? I think every team should be in a conference, if you ask me. Every team should go through the gauntlet of playing in a conference, playing your conference rivals. You know, oh, but we get to play USC. That's our rival. That's not a... Yeah, it's a rivalry game, but why? Like, well, you need to play a conference rival. USC already packed it in. Look at Texas A&M giving all they have against LSU. Conference. Look at some of these rivalry games. Washington State. and then tell me that it doesn't hurt you not being a Power 5 conference. And plus, for the sake of recruiting as well. Yeah, they're sitting pretty, and they get an extra week off, which helps them. But if they lost that game to Michigan, that one game early in the season, they may be looked at differently right now. They may be saying, well, I don't know, they're on the bubble because they're not in a Power 5 conference. That's the difference. So, should Notre Dame be in a Power 5 conference? And if so, which conference do you think they would best fit being in?
Let's give it a shot.
It's not starting off well.
That bad already?
Yeah.
Jeez. Okay.
We can hear you now, so make it quick.
Please.
Make it quick. You're doing good.
I'm going to say that Notre Dame, do they deserve to be? Oh, man. Here, cheer. Go, Josh, please. Gosh.
No, you're doing good. You're doing good. We got you.
I think Notre Dame, should they be one? Definitely. But I don't know if they ever will. They just make too much money on their own TV deal. I don't know if that university will ever want to share the TV money that some of these other conferences do. They are pastime. You have a long history of fans, players, school tradition. I don't know if they are going to benefit from going to a conference and sharing money with them. So I don't know if they ever will. But if they did, or if they were forced ever, I think somewhere like the Big Ten seems like they fit. You know, that cold weather, Notre Dame in that climate, it just fits that kind of mold. So I think going in there would see a good fit. But answer the question about them being hurt or not by not playing in the conference championship, I think this year it helps them. But in most years, if they have that marquee victory like they have against Michigan, they're not getting in. They're sitting at 5th or 6th right now. They're not getting in. So I think it hurts them not being in there more times than not. So I'm going to stop before I break up every more.
Okay. Josh, what do you think?
I agree. You know, they are making way too much money. They have every game on NBC. They're doing great with that. It was a shoe-in this year. It's almost a shoe-in every year, you could say, because they are an independent. But if they were to join one, I would say probably the most fitting, I would go more of a Big 12 than a Big 10. And for the reason of it's more centrally located to where they are now, the location of Notre Dame is in Indiana.
Well, except for there's two teams that are in the Big 10 that are in the same state as them, as in Purdue and Illinois.
I agree, but what I'm saying is everyone else is in the middle right there too, with Kansas and Oklahoma and all that stuff too.
Yeah. Either one would be a good fit. I say Big 10 myself only because of the whole Purdue-Illinois factor of that being there for them to play. And a Purdue-Notre Dame rivalry could be pretty nice considering they're very close to each other. So, yeah, I think Anthony's right. I think this year it helps them, but in most years it hurts them. I would like to see them in a Power 5 conference. I think every team should be in a conference. I don't know why they're not. I mean, obviously I know why. And by the way, the game last night against USC, or Saturday night, was on ABC, not NBC. So where's their money? And I have to imagine that was one of the most least watched USC Notre Dame matchups of all time, thanks to USC being absolutely terrible this year. So,
side note, they brought their head coach back for next year.
Oh boy, can't wait to see how that transpires. A couple of the games I want to run through real quick in championship and the Power 5 conferences. We'll do the ones that really don't matter that much. First, Clemson, Pittsburgh in the ACC. Clemson's probably going to run away with this one. Pittsburgh has a good running game. That's about it. And Clemson has a good rush defense. I think it's a no-brainer. Clemson probably runs away with this, with Lawrence's hair flowing in the wind like what's that old model that everyone references that had the flowing locks? Fabio, yeah. Lawrence is going to run away with this like Fabio, with his hair flowing in the wind as he runs by the Pittsburgh defense, I think Clemson should have this in hand. You guys have to agree with that, right?
I'll go with Fabio.
Okay, good. Washington and Utah, which I think is one of the most intriguing ones. The ones, maybe a lot of people saw Washington in, but I don't think a lot of people saw Utah in there in the Pac-12 championship. Utah has a chance at this one. They struggled early against BYU, but in the second half they put up 7 touchdowns and kind of put them away late there. Utah beat Oregon this year as well. Oregon beat Washington this year. Utah has a chance here, and Washington's been kind of up and down. It's not going to be played in snow, so there's hope for there. You think Utah has a chance against Washington, guys?
I think they do, but the Huskies already beat Utah earlier this season. Right now, Myles Gaskin is playing at a high level. He had a phenomenal game last week, 3 touchdowns, 170 yards. So I think that plus Jake Browning, the leadership with that Huskies team, I think they're just going to have a little too much over Utah to be here before. So I think Washington going to do it based on just capitalize. They're going to Utah.
All right. Last 2 sentences. We'll try to read mouths. Josh, what do you got in the Pac-12 championship? You should. You should just put what you think in the comment box on Facebook. Now he's paused. Okay, Josh, what do you think here? Utah have a chance?
I actually think Utah's going to take it. I think with the rushing of Zach Moss, over 1,000 yards already this year, he is a beast, and that defense is going to look for revenge and to stop that offense of Browning. And Browning's not been that consistent this year. So I think Utah can run away with this and win that win that Pac-12 championship.
You have your eyes on the prize there as a Fresno State fan, but yeah, the Mountain West championship. One thing about Browning is he hasn't looked the same since his injury. That's simply put, a couple years ago. So let's move on to Ohio State and Northwestern. Northwestern had already punched their ticket, big win. They have a very complete team in Northwestern. Not a lot of people talking about them, but they are ranked. They have played a great season. They deserve to be in it. Ohio State just drubbed Michigan. Is there a hangover effect, though, from the game of the year, called The Game, where you beat a team like that and play that good? I think there's going to be a little hangover effect. I think it's going to be a lot closer than people think it's going to be. I still think Ohio State wins, but I think it's going to be closer. Does Northwestern have any chance, in your guys' opinion, to beat Ohio State?
I will say no.
Okay.
That Ohio State team against Michigan last week was the most complete performance that team has delivered all season. And I think it's going to carry over the hangover, and Dwayne Haskins and that whole offensive crew are going to keep going in, and I think they're just going to mold Northwestern, and it won't even be close. Josh,
is there hope for there?
I think there's more than hope for there, because if you go the week prior to, it was Maryland's own fault for losing that game against Ohio State, and I think that Northwestern wants to pull that huge upset. And even if they don't go to the biggest bowl, that was their biggest bowl, was right there.
Yeah, I agree with you there. And by the way, when I'm watching this game, media, every time Urban Meyer touches his head, don't mention that he has a cyst in his brain. Stop it. It's every time. He was scratching his head at one point, and they mentioned it. I'm like, dude, everyone scratches their head. It doesn't mean he's hurting at the moment. I understand that sucks, and I feel bad for the guy, but let's not talk about it every time he puts a finger to his head the whole freaking game. That was annoying. Stop it. Alabama, Georgia. Here's the thing on Alabama, Georgia. Alabama's going to win this game. But if Georgia can just keep it close and keep Alabama from scoring a lot of points, they have a chance to make the college football playoffs. It's that simple. If they somehow, let's say Alabama wins 24-18, how do you not put Georgia in that 4th spot? So Georgia pretty much is playing to keep it close, I think. Yeah, they're playing to win, but they know if they can keep it close, they have a chance to make the college football playoffs. It'll be the first time ever that a team has played a team twice in the college football playoff, as a 1-4 being the same division. So they play each other for the championship, and if Georgia does keep it close or wins, then they're automatically in. They'd play them again in that Cotton Bowl. So I think that's the key for Georgia. Keep it close. They have a chance. You guys think Georgia even has a chance to win?
Oh, man, I really want to say Jake Fromm and that Georgia team has a little hope, but Alabama just looks so good right now. Offensively, we haven't seen them play a full 4 quarters all season because they're always won everybody out by halftime. So I just think that there's just so much talent. They not restart there at Alabama all every year, and I think right now they're rushing to repeat once again. So I can't bet against them. There's no way.
Josh, what do you think?
I think you hit the nail right on the head. It's going to be close. They're hoping and begging it to be close because everybody that I've ever seen loves the SEC way too much not to give it to another SEC team, and would not bat an eye just to see that rematch one more time again.
Yeah, exactly. I'm with you there, although I don't think it's going to be close at all. I think Alabama runs away with it. Going to the big game, I think, of all the championship games, the Texas-Oklahoma rematch. Here's why. If Oklahoma wins this game, they would have defended their loss, beat the only team that beat them all year long, and I think gets that 4 spot, which, by the way, guys, from last week, I'm looking pretty good right now. I'm looking pretty good because both Washington State and Michigan, as you guys both predicted, they gone. You know who's there?
Don't forget anything, huh?
Oklahoma. That's right. If they beat Texas, it's going to be a great game. I cannot wait to watch this. This is the one I'm going to watch. Oklahoma against Texas. Both have a shot, although Texas looked really bad. Really bad against a terrible Kansas team over the weekend, which I think there was kind of one of those hangover. We know we're in the championship. I think they played a lot of seniors. They still pulled it out, but they did not look good at all. In Oklahoma, they were just like fist for fist against West Virginia, pulling up in the end. Kyler Murray looks great in his 1 year playing football till he goes off to MLB. And maybe with a big win here against Texas, could be the Heisman Trophy winner for everything he's done. He's put up record numbers this year. Record numbers on the ground, in the air. So I think Oklahoma revenges. They take it, and they move on to number 4. And their reward for winning, they get to play Alabama. Who wins, Texas, Oklahoma?
No, I'm going to go with you there with Oklahoma. I think that Red River rivalry game is huge, and I think Texas played their best game of the season there, and they've struggled since then. Oklahoma, offensively, like you mentioned, they're unstoppable. When you have a quarterback like Murray, it is impossible to slow him down through the air, on the ground. So I think Oklahoma makes a statement. You go out there and I won't say dominate Texas, but win convincingly. And, I take them like I predicted last week.
I think we lost him again.
Yeah, it's okay. He'll be back next week.
I agree with you. I think Toby Keith leads. I was telling you that the other day, that Toby Keith is like the biggest Oklahoma fan. And I think that he shows up, plays a little song for all those Oklahoma fans and gets them all riled up right before the game, and they go out and destroy Texas.
I would like that. And number 4 in the college football playoffs. Josh, real quick, because I know you want to talk about it, just we won't spend too much time on it, but Fresno State going up against old rivals there in Boise.
Yep.
Who wins on the blue turf?
I say, I know we've never won there, but I think
not since '70s.
They finally play all 4 quarters this time, and we actually win.
Mm-hmm.
We pull it off on the blue turf and head to the Vegas Bowl. I think that's what's going to happen.
All right. Anthony, you got Boise State or Fresno State? He has nothing. You lost him again.
15. Oh, man. There we go. Jeez.
There he is.
There
now
he
he
is.
talks.
There he
Okay.
is.
I'm so frustrated with myself right now.
It's okay. I'll say it. I say last year Fresno State won at home before losing to Boise State in the Mountain West Championship. This year Fresno State lost against Boise State. I think Fresno State wins with that defense and that offense. And Keyshawn Johnson, not that one, it's spelled differently, but Keyshawn Johnson is one of the best receivers nobody's heard of in college. Went to the same high school as Davante Adams. Broke all of his records there. Then went to Fresno State, same college as Davante Adams, and has broken all of his records there. He's going to be the key in this one. I think they get him active early, and Fresno State wins it and wins the Mountain West. Real quick, some baseball news. The Braves. Oh, go ahead.
On. I do have one question for you, real quick. Central Florida and Memphis. Does Central Florida pull it off with their quarterback now with a torn ACL and not playing? Had surgery.
They did win a game earlier this year where he was benched by their coach for not showing up to a practice or something stupid. And the coach benched him, and they were able to pull it off, and they won handily in that game. I think they win.
But they did play each other earlier in the year, and that quarterback did play, and they only beat Memphis by 1 point.
That is true. And Memphis probably has the best running back in college football that no one's talking about. But I just don't. I guess it's in a way it's hard for me to see them losing. They haven't lost in so long.
I understand. I feel for that too. But I just love to see that them to lose it and see another mid-major team take that into year 6.
Yeah, and without the quarterback, it's going to be tough. I mean, he's playing out of his mind. It's a tough injury. I just think I think they pull it off.
All right.
I think they just stuff the box. They stuff the Memphis running back. I can't think of his name right now, but he's averaging like 160 yards a game or whatever. He's crazy good. And I just don't think, they have no passing game. So I think they stuff the box. They just force, keep their offense on the field. And they have so many playmakers on that team. I think they'll be okay. And they pull it off. Moving on to some baseball news. The Braves were busy today. Did we lose Anthony again for good?
I think he'll be back. Yes, he did. We did lose him.
Okay. So Anthony has left the building, but we're going to talk about some baseball real quick, and then we'll end the show, hopefully on a better note. Anthony just sent me a text. I lost the call. Sad face, sad face, sad face. Poor guy. It was a rough night for him, but it's okay because we'll bring him back on next week and see what he has to say. And also in Trust Me Sports this week, too. So you get plenty of Anthony Zaragoza at Zaragoza Anthony on Twitter. Brian McCann going back to the Braves. I think it's for his swan song, as you would say, one more year. And the big signing, Braves signed Josh Donaldson to a third base spot. Now, injury prone, yes, but a good spot for him. I think if he's healthy, that a team that's on the rise. More will come over the next few weeks. You got the winter meetings coming as well. A lot's going to happen in baseball here. This is going to be one of the craziest off season in baseball I can possibly imagine. And also Lonnie Chisenhall was signed to the Pirates. So the Chisenhall experiment is over in Cleveland, and he moves to the Pirates, who are in desperate need of a third baseman there as well. So Josh Donaldson, I also want to ask you real quick because I know we got to end soon. Over under of 90 games played next year for the Braves.
I'm going under.
Under. Wow, that injury prone. He won't even play half the season. I have to agree with you though. I really think he's that bad.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he's a great player, but that bad when it comes to staying healthy. And
agreed, especially when you can't even just put him into a DH spot. He has to play.
Yeah, exactly. Oh man, it's gonna be. But you know what? They have a good young team, and I think they'll be okay there in the end. All right, guys. Well, thank you, everybody, for listening tonight. Enjoy your Week 13, which is going to be absolutely terrible. The matchups are... Let's run down these matchups real quick, and you tell me how bad they are. Let's put it in perspective here. Besides the Saints and Cowboys, which is Thursday night, that's a pretty decent matchup, but I think the Saints should win. You got the Bears Giants, okay, first place, last place. Packers Cardinals, first place, last place. Colts Jaguars, Colts good, Jaguars reeling. They got the Browns Texans, which should be decent. Panthers Buccaneers, Broncos Bengals without Dalton. The Bills and Dolphins, yuck. Ravens Falcons, that one should be pretty interesting. The Rams Lions, yuck. The Chiefs Raiders, yuck. The Jets and Titans, double yuck. And then finally, the Vikings Patriots. It's like the only good game you could think of the week. Oh, but wait, there's more. 49ers and Seahawks, yuck. Then the Chargers Steelers, the other good one. And then you got the Redskins without Alex Smith and the Eagles. So that is the Week 13 lineup of games. Enjoy, because you're only going to be watching Red Zone and hoping your fantasy team does well, because that's some ugly, ugly games in Week 13 of the NFL.
And hoping for the night game on Sunday.
Yes. Besides, the Vikings Patriots will be good. That's an afternoon game here on the Pacific Coast, so evening on the East Coast. And then, of course, the Chargers Steelers should be really good. That's by far the best game of the weekend. So have fun with that, everybody. Enjoy your week. Enjoy basketball. Enjoy college basketball, which is here. And huge win for Gonzaga beating Duke. We thought Duke was unstoppable, but Gonzaga goes out and says, nah, hold my beer. Beat a good Duke team there. Awesome to watch. Enjoy hockey. Enjoy NBA. Go Clippers. That's right. And enjoy, whatever you have to watch. You got Champions League coming this week again. You got soccer going on. You got the MLS playoffs. Semifinals going on right now. That's exciting. There's so much going on. It's the best time of year for sports. I say it every year, and I love it. Josh, thank you for joining me tonight.
Thank you. I appreciate it very much.
It's at JStanhill on Twitter. Enjoy. I saw he does some polls and does some cool stuff, so check him out there. Good friend of the show. Thanks, everyone, for watching. We'll see you next week. Remember, Trust Me Sports, InTrustMeSports.com, MondayNightRants.com, Facebook.com/MondayNightRants, Trust Me Sports, all this stuff. Just Google us. We're everywhere. Enjoy your week, everybody. And until next week, guys, you got to remember, because it's winter, it's cold outside, so it's very important that we do this now. Always remember to spay and neuter your pets. Boom.